on the boat. You excited? Yeah. This is gonna be so awesome. We're gonna get to see all these beautiful lights and have a narrated tour of the Riverwalk. Here we go.
That's right. You just keep it going.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Good deal. Did y'all folks want to, did you want this semi-guided narration that comes with the boat ride, or we'd like to skip that part?
Every day. We'll take it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, your wish is my command, and we can start here. This is the natural waterway that we're upon right now. It's known as the San Antonio River. We're going with the flow. The river depths anywhere from 3 to 10 foot deep. Safety guidelines, friends. Please no tobacco products. Please no vaping. Please kindly remain seated during the course of the tour. Be mindful of your hands and your arms and your elbows along the way. And of course, if you feel encouraged, please, with questions at any given time. Are y'all enjoying yourselves in the city?
Yes.
All right. How about the rest of y'all?
Woo!
All right. Coming up at the bridge, friends, look skyward to the left, and we'll see a 2-dimensional optical illusion. It's actually a 3-dimensional structure. But we gotta look skyward to the left, so we can see what we're talking about now at the bridge. Here we go now. Skyward to the left, out underneath the bridge. This one is considered to be one of the finest colorful terracotta walls this side of the Southwest. Thanks to the Knicks Hospital building constructed in 1930. It was home to the Knicks Hospital until 2019, November 1 since 1930. It's going to become a mixed-use hotel space now. Friends, if you might like to charter or go Rio Cruises for your private event, you can be contacted at GoRioCruises.com. GoRioCruises.com. Where's your service? Look at the front from the low, friends, is a higher Regency Hotel. Those who talk to that building is not very high. You know why? Because located on the other side of the structure up there is Texas's Shrine to Liberty, the Outlet. If that building was any higher than it does appear, it would cast a shadow upon Texas's Shrine to Liberty at dusk. Did you know that to this very day, there are no independently located structures out here in the downtown San Antonio, Texas area that ever could possibly cast a shadow upon Texas's Shrine to Liberty at dusk? Since 1836, remember the outlet. Guys, when I asked you if you wanted the semi-guided narration, I wasn't trying to be ornery. I usually take a boat, and sometimes people, they don't want this, the narration, and I can totally respect that. But we'll take it from here. Feel free to stop me anytime. Welcome aboard. We can start the tour reflecting upon this river. We started from here. That's where am I? What's starting here? We're flipping around. Reflecting upon, for years there was nothing but delivery docks, garbage containers, parking spaces, and plain backs of walls, just facing the water of the river. Intro 1, Robert H. Hudson, a native San Antonian returning to San Antonio in 1928 after studying architecture. This was a few years after the worst of some very serious flooding which did occur in 1921. And people were sincerely talking about paving over the natural bed of the San Antonio River here as it does meander its way to the heart of the city. The young Mr. Hugman, he too opposes the idea of paving over any part of the water. Thus, this also adds his voice to those attempting to preserve the area. Upon his own initiative, Mr. Hugman does design a master plan for the river. It included buildings, bridges, walks, benches, lights, and waterway features that combined old world charm with the natural beauty of the area itself. He personally designs every single detail of a plan, from powering the sidewalk to a gadget that changed light bulbs and light fixtures. Mr. Hugman didn't envision Vlogmas that does include everything we see here is found in Texan American San Antonio holiday evening. Stores, restaurants, and apartments alive with people and activities. A landscaped area is a world apart, just like below. Busy downtown city streets. Friends, on the hard right side of the boat there, upon the Clifton building, is the historic downtown riverfront office of Robert H. Husband, architect. This whole entire area may never ever had existed as it does appear, in the event of the return of the native San Antonio to San Antonio in 1928. Robert Harold Harvard Husband, often referred to as the father of the Riverwalk because he often fondly referred to River Society, hence the nickname Father of the Riverwalk. The guy who owns this place, friends, on the right side, he owns street level and he owns river level. Years ago, at street level was a hardware store. At river level, he had something going on, but it wasn't going over. He opened up something else, it still wasn't going any further. He determined, I'm going to open a third place down here. If it does not get off the ground, I'm going to sell off the river level property. In 1946, friends, he opened up the very first restaurant there on the river, Casa Rio. Today, they are the oldest restaurant here on the river, Casa Rio. To the good credit, to the good reputation, if you still make up and serve a great tasty tomato, serrano pepper, onion, and cilantro salsa there, it is delicious as it is nutritious. And I am not being facetious. I'm here until Tuesday. That's the make it back to sleep. Thanks for bringing your friends. All right, the gang's all here. Hey.
Hey.
Maybe not. The gang's all here. Hey. Happy birthday. Now we're taking a left turn off of the natural bed of the river and we're entering into the man-made extension, excavated here from street level back in 66, 68, 3 foot deep throughout. The Riverwalk Park is 1,000. The Riverwalk Park is 1,400 plus acres strong. This translates to 25 miles round trip, starting up at the San Antonio Big City Zoo and going up to the south outskirts of the city and back again the walk does come. The walk is open 24/7, 365. You're always welcome out here, friends. You're always welcome in South Central Texas. Yes, you are. Looking to the forefront of the boat are two big hotels before us. One right before us is the Marriott Riverwalk. One on the left up there is the Marriott River Center, which boasts over 1,000 rooms and is one of 5 of the largest hotels in all of Texas. The original owner and builder is Eddie DeBartolo Jr., also the former owner of the San Francisco 49ers. Boom! Any Niner fans out here? No? Guys, hold on. Watch yourself. Watch out. Watch out. Watch out. Watch out. Go, 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 go. We're good. We're good. Watch yourself. Don't reach out. Don't reach out. Don't reach out. I'm sorry, Jose. Move out. Is everybody okay? Okay. Who wants to drive? Who wants to drive?
Watch your shoes.
Okay. Okay, guys, I gotta take a couple shots of tequila here. Hold on. Calm my nerves. Oh. Right, it's not for everybody. Okay. Like I was saying, the Barrett Riverside Hotel, which boasts over 1,000 rooms, is one of 5 of the largest hotels in all of Texas. The original owner and builder is Eddie DeBartolo Jr., also the former owner of the San Francisco 49ers. Boom! Any Niner fans aboard? Niner fans out here? Or Niners. Hey, there you go, Paisans. How about those 5-time world champion Dallas Cowboys? How about y'all get off my boat now? I can't believe it's in the script, right? I'm just doing my job, lady. I'm just doing my job here. Look, okay. Looking to the right, friends. See that giant spire jutting up into the sky up there? That is the Tower of the Americas. That's more than 600 feet up into the air, constructed in 1968. The bottom level is a rotating restaurant that's a 360 in an hour's time. The top level is a non-rotating outdoor observation deck, offering views up to 16 miles round as that restaurant up there does rotate. Truly a fantastic way to see the 7th largest city in the United States, 2nd largest city in the state of Texas. Now, you know what the story is behind the Marriott up there, friends? Before they ever built that Marriott, there was another hotel already located there, known as the Fairmont Hotel, a building that's registered upon the National Register of Historic Buildings here in the United States. And given the Fairmont's historic significance, the structure itself could not just be torn down. This is how they did move the Fairmont. They brought in a series of 36 axles connected to hundreds of hydraulic, sensitive airplane airfield tires. Then they lowered the three-story, 3.2 million pound Fairmont Hotel building squarely right upon those axles and tires and hydraulics. And they rolled the structure about 3 blocks to its current location on South Alamo Street intact, where it does serve today as the Fairmont Hotel. 5-year study, they did initiate a 6-day relocation process in order to go just like that. Any questions? I only have so many answers. Going closer to that, they're doing some artwork there, abstract art installation. Abstract art, it's called stargazers. Looking to the right, see the giant spire jutting up into the sky. That is the power of the Americans, more than 600 feet up into the air, offering those views of 16 miles around as the restaurant does rotate. San Antonio spans a range of 424 square miles, friends, south central Texas, rounding up to the edge of the Texas Hill Country, and rounding down to the Gulf Central Plain. Our population is 1.5 million people. As far as the largest cities in the state of Texas are concerned with land-wise, it's Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas in that order, with Houston leading the way. We surpassed Dallas about 10 years ago or so. Land-wise, we did. Coming up with this footbridge here before us, friends, looking to the left side up there upon the facade of the Lilac Taco Performing Arts Theater, so named after the first female mayor of San Antonio in 3 terms, is a component of civilization. The artist's name is Wanda Byrom. He utilized 7 different pieces of natural hand-delivered hand-cut stone in 2 different colors, especially glazed brick, to create the depiction of the cultural and the scientific influences of 2 distinctly different cultures coming together. On the left is a Hispanic culture emerging, on the right is an Anglo culture emerging, and they meet in the center, creating one of the American families of the future. Those are 24 by 24 inch concrete squared slabs that make up the canvas of the artwork. Notice the character lines, clean and complete, not flawed or distorted. Notice the fact that the canvas itself is a bow. It's not just straight across. This artwork on the left was not done on site. The measurements, they had to be exact. They brought the artwork back and set it up there, square by square by artistic square. A full 100,000 pieces of hand-gathered, individually hand-carved, hand-cut, hand-placed stone, and to evenly, precisely finish the appearance throughout, creating the 3D effect you might have noticed going away, teeming upon the surface of the confluence of civilization. 1968. Coming in this area back there, friends, brought us to the Convention Center. The Conventioners building did run a big city block to my right. They demolished it, since rebuilt. The skywalk above us is new. Beyond the skywalk is new. To the left, to the right of the skywalk is all new. They also added an east wing. To my left, it does run a big city block, brand new. This is now all known as the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center. Henry B. was the first Hispanic American elected to the House of Representatives in '61. He occupies the seat in the House for 28 years, representing the city of family-friendly San Antonio. It's all a convention space here. We get a lot of convention years year-round. Sometimes it's just 15 people. Sometimes it's 50,000 people. They're having an auction over there right now. Yeah, you can hear the guy who's the auctioneer for Looking before us is some railing in the water, and the boat's about to engage the railing friends of this rock a bit. I'm requesting, please, everybody aboard at this time, please refrain from reaching out to gray stones or to grab foliage you're going to the railing. We might bump around a bit going to this railing. This remains seated. I'll come back for you. Now, as we go through here, do not reach out to the left side or the right side of the boat, okay? We're going to get closer to the rock on the left than we will on the right. So just be careful here. Don't do a crane over looking at the water unawares and get yourself knocked out before Christmas. Some people do believe San Antonio is the oldest continuously active municipality in the United States, even older than St. Augustine, Florida. Let me tell you why they do feel this way. Back in those days, to the north was Apache and Comanche territory. But then Apaches and the Comanches, they come into San Antonio, Texas, kill, pillage, and burn. After a while, compared to Laredo, going south in between was classic Badlands. Every type of outlaw, renegade, and bandito that you would hope not to encounter was located over there. They too would come into San Antonio, Texas, kill, pillage, and burn. Friends, the city out here has always united and stood up as one, defending the city and fighting back, driving out people workers, regardless of who was inhabiting the town at the time. And the Spaniards, the Higalos, Tejanos, Texans are all of their dead. They would unite for the common good, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, all associated with a sense of common dignity. Common good, common dignity. They live for Texas, and Texas lives for them. Hence the claim, the oldest continuously active municipality that is United States since inception to this very day. Yours truly, San Antonio, Texas, 1718. Friends, did you know that in the United States is against the law to fly your state colors and your national colors at the top of the state capitol building, nonetheless, anytime that you want and as much as you want, like we do in Austin, that is against the law, and something you will see distinctly throughout the state of Texas. The reason why these occurrences occur this way, Texas out here was a nation unto itself for 10 years. Having won independence from Mexico, all by ourselves. Prior to joining the United States in 1846, one of the stipulations was Texas must be allowed to fly state colors and the national colors. Anytime that we so do this, so we do. Hence the saying goes, only Texas! An Lone Star State, this is true. I'm not coming on too strong, am I? I don't want to confront the holiday. Now our friends are coming into the River Center extension here, excavated for street level back in 85, 88, for the construction and placement of shops in River Center. You're about to see you on that second footbridge out there, right on this first street bridge. And it's still 3-foot deep, it's still 3-foot deep. River Center extension, River Center Lagoon, River Center Mall, 85, 88. When you got on the boat at, that's known as the Aztec locale. This is our River Center locale. We also have a historic locale, same company, same that's a different boat characters and personalities. We all operate from 12 till 10, 12 to 10. We don't get to everyone on occasion, but the company line is 12 to 10. It's like about 100 shops out and about. The shop hours are from 11 to 9 and 12 to 6 on Sunday.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Próspero año y felicidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Próspero año y felicidad.
Merry Christmas!
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Próspero año y felicidad.
Coming up with the great things people in the see you see a tall statue and thanks to the tall statue, right? This is a life construction in 1691, Spanish explorers did stop in the area long enough to celebrate a mass. The chief celebrant of the mass was the Father Mass, and happened to be the feast day of St. Anthony de Padua that particular day. So Father Mass today dug the waterway in Rio San Antonio. That's how the river got its name. That's how the river got its name in 1691. We're going to be okay. Don't be alarmed, guys. Don't be alarmed. That was just a fluke of the wrist back there a little earlier. But this other little stuff, don't worry. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. You're not going to fall out of the boat. You'll be fine. Looking down the river, see the green top structure hosting the national flag. That's the Tower Life of 1929. We're going to see some of that a little close here in just a moment. Friends, right past these trees, looking to the right at street level, and you will see the steeple of St. Joseph's German Catholic Church, constructed in 1868. They do conduct German singing, Thanksgiving masses up there, every fourth and Sunday of the month, led by a group known as the Riverwalk, who has been leading the song of Thanksgiving there for over 140 years now. On the right side, open to the public on a daily basis, St. Joseph's off of Commerce Street, 1868 on the right side. There's 180,000 plus Christmas lights in the trees. They were turned on about 2 weeks ago. This past Friday, they had the tree lighting ceremony, followed by a great big riverboat Christmas parade. The lights are staying to the 10th of January, 180,000 plus cars. Right past the building on the right side of the boat, the San Antonio Chamber of Commerce, you will see a street level, the orange sculpted work on up there, street level, right across the street on the right side. And that was deeply the San Antonio 20 years ago. It does represent the association, the cooperation, and the friendship of the three countries moving side by side. Upon the side of the planet that we inhabit entire Earth. Canada, the United States, Mexico. Mexico, the United States, Canada. A flag of friendship, which is commonly known as today. We're going to take the left turn out of the Van extension now and back upon the natural bend in the San Antonio. That's right, this course now to the heart of the city. It shapes this kind of crooked horseshoe pattern. We'll take that left turn upon the very bottom end of the fort and go into the flow. Remember, that's going to return to anywhere from 3 to 10 foot deep. The whole entire Riverwalk today is recognized today as a city park. So is the Paseo del Rio, overseen by the city. Bass in the water, catfish, perch, turtle, squawfish. It's a living, natural waterway known as the San Antonio River. Yes, it is. Go ahead and let these guys do what they're going to do. As you draw forth, you can look to the forefront of the boat and see the Hilton Palacio del Rio up there, friends. That hotel up there to the forefront left as you make the left turn here is that hotel is the fastest modular style constructed hotel building in the entire world. What this means exactly, each room is individually prefabricated modules, furniture already prearranged inside, including bed-frames, mattress cover sheets, blanket, pillowcase, dresser drawer, holding bag, brush drawer, shower curtain, folded towels, wrap soap, pitch paint in the household pin, hanger to the wall, make you feel at home when you walk inside. This is true. Everything was appropriate before the addition is true. Completely furnished with work and hoisted up there one by one, via frame from the fourth floor. Stacked on top of each other here like Lego blocks, snapped into place from the plumbing and the electrical. If the building friends on the left was accomplished in 1968. 500 room structure outside of the boat, that's just rooms alone, what was the rush? In 1968, San Antonio is getting ready to celebrate its 250th anniversary as a city in Hemisphere. It's a 10-year event in the making. The city will go to the extent of sending out formal invitations to half of the globe to share the side of the earth of San Antonio. They come to celebrate our birthday with us here in 1968 from April to October, our 250th anniversary as a city. Hence the name of the event, Hemisphere. But then in a year's time, the Hemisphere friends, the city realizes we have no major hotels on the walk. Some guy stepped up and says, well, I'll build a major hotel on the walk right at the same time. Now, if I do succeed, he declares, do not charge me for the land upon which I stand. If I do not, he continues, I will finish the building with integrity. I'll walk away from it. It's yours, San Antonio, Texas. City gave him the green light, truly a win-win situation. Needless to say, much more than anything else, HP's out with his wife, this is Riverwalk Lord. They did right up in the very last room, toasty champagne, clean, celebrating the completion of the structure here on the left, and a record-setting 202 working days at just of this company. Once found in the Guinness Book of World Records for being the fastest modular style constructed hotel building in the entire world. And no longer is on the second city of the feet. Built in Palacio del Rio, Palace from San Antonio, 1968. In HP Sacri, He gains the prime riverfront property at zero cost per the prevailing agreement. On the left side, the homes and houses restaurants they date back to the 1850s, once belonged to German settlers, known as the Dashiell and Barrack families in the 1850s. The forefront right is honestly out the river stage, studying Dr. Edmund P. Allison, Chief Engineer, Riverwalk Construction, 1939-1941. Very amount of presentations take place here year-round. River always plays a starring role. This is where they televise the riverboat parades from right here. And this is where they also judge the riverboat parades from here as well. They just sit up here and judge them as they go by. There's like about 7 riverboat parades throughout the year in San Antonio. There's Dia de los Muertos Riverboat Parade, that Halloween parade. There's also the Christmas parade, which happened 2 nights ago. There's also the Mardi Gras Riverboat Parade, the Dino the River Green, St. Patrick's Day Riverboat Parade, the Fiesta Day Riverboat Parade, the Armed Forces Appreciation Day Riverboat Parade, my birthday Riverboat Parade. That was always good. I'm trying to get down to vote for that one. On the left one, I'm not going to join. On the left side of the boat up there, see the orange sculpture. Actually, on the left side, it reads entrance to on the back left side, it reads entrance to La Villita. That's where San Antonio has its origins. La Villita was founded by the Spaniards in 1718. Military compound, Spanish garrison was housed there. Today, friends, La Villita is home to artesian and rustic shops. The compound itself is open anywhere from 6ish to midnight, depending upon events. These tall trees before us are marked as a cypress. Some of them are native to the area, some of them have been planted out here. They raised some of the tall trees you may notice all along the way. They've been out here for well over 300 years already, marked as a cypress. These 2 buildings on the right, they house the Briscoe Western Art Museum. They're full of Western art, drawings, paintings, and sculpture of the Western kind, as well as Western artifacts. They also have on site a self-guided sculpture garden, 18 different types of statues with history. For example, see the bulls in the backyard there to the corner right side? The history behind that artwork is some long ago forgotten history of the city of San Antonio. It starts with the year 1776. This is when the Declaration of Independence from England had been signed. In 1778, there were British troops docked at the Alabama coastline and the Florida coastline. Not only docked but encamped. The idea was to come in, attack, and crush the fledgling democracy. At that time, friends, Texas was a part of Spain. At the bequest of General George Washington, Spain dispatched General Bernardo de Galvez out of then Spanish San Antonio, followed by his troops, followed by the bold, to keep them fed and hardy for the battles that laid ahead. Against the British, at home they encountered the Alabama coastline, engaging and defeating. And against the British, at home they encountered at the Florida coastline, engaging and defeating. Camino de Galvez, the artist's name is Kelsey. That those 2 battles had not originated out of old San Antonio in 1778, this may never, ever have been the United States, as those of us aboard this boat call home. Who would have started it? San Antonio does hold a premier place in the history of our country. 1718, San Antonio. Looking before us is the Presa Street Bridge, constructed in 1891. It does still serve today as commercial and private thoroughway. Presa Street Bridge, 1891. The bridge is hanging low or riding high. Looks like it might hit your head. It's an optical illusion of sorts. Maintain seating, it will not hit your head. If you stand up, all bets are on. Friends, going forward, look into the forefront right, see another iron sculpture over there. 2 hands reaching up to a chalice in the host. The iron sculpture commemorates the first mass celebrated along the river in 1691. If you notice those 3 arrows in the artwork there, they signify the conversion to Christianity of some of the natives. Arrows sit voluntarily upon the table. This doesn't mean that one does not know how to accurately and precisely utilize those arrows. It just means that one doesn't accurately, precisely utilize those arrows maliciously, mischievously, and or deceitfully. The artist's name is Rolando Brazillo. The artwork's title is Father, Mass in its table. Arrows set voluntarily upon the table, a conscious free will act of the heart. What used to be located on the right during the 1850s was known as St. Louis's Mill, who used to grind grain for the settlers throughout this area. The time of Lake Lewis's Mill as well as one of 3 located out here along the riverbank within a 5-mile radius of us. Further up north was the Molina Mill, central was Lake Lewis's Mill, and further down south was the Underground Mill, the Houston Mill Club today. This is a living, natural waterway below the pond. Bass in the water, catfish, perch, turtles, crawfish. A living, natural waterway known as the San Antonio River. Looking downriver out there, you see the beehive spar structure with a green roof about to come to view downriver. That is the Barrack County Courthouse, constructed in 1896. That's the largest, oldest, continuously still active courthouse found in the state of Texas today. 1896, Barrack County Courthouse. Looking to the forefront left is the Tower Life building. The green top structure may have done from afar. If you do gaze to uppermost floors of the Gothic structure up there, friends, you can see the gargoyles extending from the uppermost floors. They go all the way around the top 2 times they do. Devil's water spouts when the heavy rains fall. Water cascades out of the gargoyles' mouths, they say. Then there's stone faces here at the base of the Tower Life building. 4 different expressions, 2 different faces, otherwise known as a grotesque. In 1929, the Tower Life was known as the Smith and Young Tower. It's a Gothic design, designed by Robert and Natalie Ayres, a father-son team of architects. 404 feet straight up into the air. They say it's the only octagon-shaped high-rise the state of Texas today from the 1920s. Remember that movie Ghostbusters 1? Those are the gargoyles up there from Ghostbusters 1. They extend from the top around they go twice. This building on the right side of the boat, on the immediate right side of the boat, has no historical significance whatsoever. Actually, from 1919 to 1963, it's known as the San Antonio Pharmaceutical Company building. It's the home with Sweets Open today, 1995. Yep, the origins of the river, friends, are located approximately 4 miles north of us here, underneath the campus of Incarnate University. Underground springs are bubbling into the Edwards Aquifer. It's a vast underground lake that does run about 180 miles northeast side of the city, and it varies in width anywhere from 5 to 30 miles at any given time. The reference depth is 700 feet. It was once the city's only source of drinking water. It's since become one of 6 of the city's sources of drinking water. That traffic light before us can be green. Underneath the traffic light, below the surface of the water, that's where floodgate 4 does right above the water right there. To ward off floodwaters when the heavy rains do fall. Those river does flow fast when you take that lift to travel on. We'd all go to 131 taxi miles from 6 Texan counties and up to the Guadalupe River. A few miles inland from the San Antonio Bay, right off the Gulf of Mexico. The river flows to our left, 131 taxi miles. Coming into the man-made channel now, 25 foot deep, and it tops off the horseshoe pattern. Ever since the beginning of modern era in San Antonio, downtown's flooded out repeatedly whenever heavy rains have fallen. Yeah, the worst flooding yet to devastate the downtown area, friends, occurs in 1921. A combination of 3 storms have struck San Antonio simultaneously. And then sequence of San Antonio's flames simultaneously. San Antonio flames are one storm together from north to south and the west. Then it starts to rain. Non-stop for 1 day and 1 night, solid in old San Antonio. The route this way itself was recorded as high desert. It took an hour for 10 hours at one point during the continuous rainfall. The following day, when the skies were shining blue, downtown was found at the 10 feet of water above sea level where we are right now. This does imply more than 30 foot of water dropped in the downtown area in that 24-hour span of time. It was a very serious proposal to simply eliminate the horseshoe pattern of the river. That was only the beginning. In response was Emily Edwards and Raina Maverick Green, who formed the San Antonio Conservation Society. Together for this, they vanished out lobbying any and every proponent in favor of paving over any part of the natural bed of the river whatsoever. Consequently, after city council had taken the final tally, in Mayor Marley, Maverick Sr., contacts then President Franklin Delano Roosevelt to do the works for the Jackson administration during the Great Depression that the initial construction of the Riverwalk completed between the years of 1939 March, 1941 March. 5 miles worth of initial Riverwalk construction, 2 years worth of work, costing a grand total of $430,000. And they utilized that master plan, single-handedly designed by Robert Harold Harvey Hudson himself. Looking up river out there is the Houston Street Bridge. Beyond that way is known as the North Channel. City of San Antonio is very dead. It is just a little flash flooding. Sometimes when the heavy rains do fall, potential flood wells, they get out of the North Channel. They work their way down here towards Horseshoe Pattern, mapping that street bridges as they flow, posing devastating effects. Here's a response to threat of flooding in the downtown area. On the right is floodgate 3, come down to the water. Remember floodgate 4 comes up out of the water. This ideal bottlenecks and protects the water in the area, the Horseshoe Pattern within itself. Then on the right is the man-made channel, 25 foot deep. To the south and right is the floodgate 5, 25 foot high. Stop the activation of floodgate string at 4. Activate floodgate 5, the load down completely, and all potential flood waters will bypass the Horseshoe Pattern altogether and flow to the south end of the city. They store to a tri-level underground man-made aquifer, storing for emergency city water use. And the waters that do not store flow to the Gulf of Mexico to the Guadalupe River. But I cannot speak from recent memory, friends. When was the last time we had to activate these downtown floodgates in earnest? Due to our now primary flood control system, it's located about 2 miles east of us here, and it runs 2 miles north to south. It's an underground tunnel 25 foot in diameter, completed in 1998. It does work perfectly all by itself. It does. So far, so good. Coming to floodgate 3 brought us into the second half of the Horseshoe Pattern going to flow. River depth shores up anywhere from 3 to 10 foot deep. And we are approaching the conclusion of the Riverwalk Cruise. Please kindly to remain seated. The dust is properly docked and safely tied down. I do wish you all well, friends, wherever you fare to next, and Godspeed everyone. Have yourselves a good time in our city. My city, your city, our city. Welcome. If no one has yet ever welcomed you to the heart, it is Texas. Welcome to San Antonio, home of the Alamo, in Texas. We're not going to run. If you need for directions and such, do let me know, please. I am your friendly, and I am at your service. Enjoy the evening tonight with friends and family in old San Antonio. Thanks for coming by to see us. Pleasure having you aboard. Hope to see you at these.
Woo!